Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Welcome to another episode of Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I am your host, Michelle Boulden Hammond. And listen, I am still on fire from my experience in France, Europe, Paris, and you know your girl here. I'm all about inspiration. I'm all about collaboration. And while I was abroad, there was someone else. I just knew that it was something about you because I can feel the vibe. So you see, I'm a whole vibe. So I felt your vibe. And audience, I want to welcome tonight Natalie Dohman here with us tonight. And I am excited to have her here. And this is what happened while we were away in Paris. So, Natalie, again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And we appreciate you for saying yes at this short of a notice.
I believe it's we. We. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour.
So yes, Natalie here is a creative, like as well as myself, and you're going to actually get to hear more about her tonight. So Natalie, we're going to start this show off. Can you tell the audience who you are, what you do, and I just love the creativeness that you have. And when I show the audience this work of yours, you're going to be like, wow. So go ahead.
Hello, I'm Natalie Dohman. I'm a US-based multimedia artist. I was originally working out of Pennsylvania, Carlisle in particular, and the Harrisburg area. I recently moved abroad to Paris, France, and I will be working out of Paris, Spain, Italy, and I do everything from painting to graphic design to photography to concept art to performance art. I'm a dancer, painter, graphic designer, and all around just artist.
Listen at that. See, that's a lot of dot. But all of it is creative now. I didn't know about the part of the dance stuff, but I think I can see that. I think I can actually see that. So, like you said, you went to go study abroad. And I think from our conversation, you actually were like on an internship or something like that. Is that correct?
So I was actually accepted as a resident
Resident.
artist.
Yeah.
That's a little bit beyond. That's more in your professional career as an artist. When you start to get a following and get known, it's kind of a master level entry into your artistry. So that's kind of when people can be like, oh, she knows what she's doing, or because you live with other artists and creatives. Most of them have master's degrees or even doctorates, and you study. Your own artistry. It's a way for you to develop even more, but then you're also teaching other artists about you and skills. So while I was there, I was teaching dance, and I also taught some abstract work and skills too.
Okay, so look, she's an all round the way creative, not with art, and there is a lot of beautiful sightings of art. I seen the lure, but we couldn't get in. Couldn't get in. I was wanted to see the Mona Lisa, but we couldn't get in because it was jam packed. Anyway, but again, maybe again, I will be coming back. So
You need
I
to come
enjoyed
back. Come back.
I enjoyed it. And the structure, the designs, when you look at the sculptures, and it's just the whole city, I was like, wow, especially just looking at being in that part of the Eiffel Tower, just looking at it and just standing there, and then the arc, because again, that night for New Year's Eve, we were on one part, but then we ended up coming to another part, through those tunnels and stuff. It was unique, very unique, very unique. So, Natalie, we know today we see a lot of people who are really following their passion, right? And what would you say to that person following their passion? And how did you get started with following your passion with art?
Mm. That's a good question. I get asked that actually quite a lot. Um, I was always an artistic kid. I was the weird kid that was always painting or drawing on something, whether it be myself or the walls or anything like that. And, I grew up, I was born in 1983, and being an artist wasn't a valid career choice. It was always be a doctor, be a lawyer, something to make money. I went to school and graduated with a degree in human services, which is like, social worker. And I was working in that field and I like people and stuff, but like there was just something missing for me. I was miserable. I wasn't my whole self. So I was going through this I like life crisis for like 10 or 15 years where I was like, I'm not in the spot that I should be in. Where am I going? What am I doing? That kind of stuff. And I was actually working in a lot of eye doctors' offices as an optician or an optometric assistant, and I would be drawing between patients. And my coworkers were like, "Why don't you go back to school for art?" And I grew up hearing art's not going to make you any money, right? So I'm like, "Well, I can't do that. There's nothing to do." So I actually decided to apply to Carnegie Mellon. I applied to SCAD. I applied to a university in Canada, and I got in. But I had a lot of negative voices in my ears from my family that were like, "You're never gonna afford that. What are you doing? You can't do that." So I had all this noise around me that's like, "You're never gonna be able to accomplish what you really want to accomplish." And then I went back to school for a degree in graphic and interactive design because I couldn't figure out if I wanted to go for architecture or if I wanted to go for actual like design. So, because I have a really strong understanding of mathematics and science too, and I love it, but then also with being creative. So I went back for graphic and interactive design. And while I was there, the professors, I became friends with them, and they were like, "You really have a different way of seeing things and seeing, just life." And I started my business like while I was back in school. So people would hire me for websites. They'd be like, "Hey, weird girl over there that's always drawing, can you do the website for us? Or can you do our logo or whatever?" So then it got to the point where I was so busy that I was like, I need to start hiring contractors. And then I built like an LLC out of that. But I also wanted to paint. So I was like, I want to do the business side of stuff and the graphics, but I'm a painter. So I wanted to express myself, but then I also wanted to help other people, you know, build their brands and stuff like that. So inevitably my path kind of built itself, and that's why like my mentors are always on like, my side. If I say I'm going to give up or quit, they're like, because I have a product that's basically, as long as I'm creating, people are out there that are going to be supporting me. And I guess I'm to the point now where I'm comfortable in my artistic career. So if I was going to tell anybody that wants to follow this kind of passion, they have to find, I hate to say it, like find their niche, but find what makes them happy, but what also improves upon the life of another person. So for me and the artistry, I think we're going to segue into it. For me, it's very spiritual. So I paint a lot of spiritual. You haven't seen a lot of what I have, but I paint a lot of spiritual and controversial pieces, and that's I mean, it's controversial in the way that some people are like, "What?" Like they're not used to seeing what I'm doing, but I'm painting what needs to be painted. So
And it's thought provoking because I'm always I'm you know I always thought that I couldn't draw, but I'm the type of person to just throw some paint on a canvas and just go to town. But then I can see something out of it because it will speak. It will speak, some type of way. And when you talk about this spirituality, I know we even conversed on that too as well. You also have a a way about talking about resilience, especially in which I'm into the mental health field as well. And this is what intrigued me too when I got to read some more of your background about how you have created, that you have this art gallery, but you also build in a resilience with people and help other people with PTSD. I think that is so awesome because when people go through so many traumatic experiences, they do need that outlet. And I want to say thank you so much for providing that space and a safe space for those who are have encountered with the PTSD. Now, can you go a little bit more into tell how all of that came into realm as well?
Sure. It's a mark of a new year and a new phase in my life where I can openly talk about this as well. Um, I grew up in a very abusive family. I grew up in a family that was mixed race, and it was very difficult. Um, I grew up in America as a biracial Jewish woman. I didn't know I was Jewish when I was a kid, but there was always something that, was different. So it's interfaith also. My family was very broken's a good way, I guess, to put it. And I went through everything from sexual assault to physical abuse. Trigger warning too for anybody that's watching, but it was heavy. And then again, the racism that's rampant in America, especially with women of color, that we are literally treated as objects. And I didn't realize how prevalent it is until I came over to France, and people, um, the way that they speak to me is like a human being, whereas in America, there's something that's called infantilizing, sorry, where people will talk to you in a way where it's like, that's so cute. Look at you doing so well. And it's a power dynamic to where you can't be your full self because the people, the responder, the recipient wants you to be below them all the time. It's freaking wild. So I went through a lot of identity issues, I guess you could say. I went through severe depression. I was suicidal a lot most of my young adult life. Recently, about a year and a half ago, I found out that the person who I thought was my father was not my father. We did a DNA test. And it's something that I always kind of had in the back of my mind where I was like, this guy, something's off with him. And at this point, I still don't know who my father is. And, people will say, oh, it's not that big of a deal or whatever. And it's like, no, it's a big deal. Like we all should know where we come from and who our family is and have, strong family connections. So I've been through the ringer with just, I mean, I could say, I feel like I could say this to you and even to the audience. Growing up, my life sucked. Like that's it sucked. And the doctors, I was really sick, and a lot of it was tied to the PTSD too, because it manifests itself in physical, which yeah, I know but the doctors were like, oh, she's not going to make it past 18, like I'm this sickly whatever. But speaking of resilience, I've always been a really strong woman, like to the point where sometimes I wonder why people even try to challenge me on things, because I'm always gonna win. Like that's what I was saying. Like I'm gonna win, and I have a strong will. Like you're not, I catch things quick. So and especially if people are being abusive or whatever, like I'll just be like, what is your problem? So because I believe in a life of peace and a path of peace, but sometimes you get situations where you get people that take a stronger hand in them. So I would say that was a major stepping stone to my art and the healing, because a lot of people don't understand that PTSD can also come from non-war based activities. Like you can get PTSD from narcissistic parents or any kind of abuse when you're in your developmental years.
It's those ACEs, it's those adverse childhood experiences. And
Mm-hmm.
but I will tell you, you have excelled. You didn't listen at the naysayers in your ears, those negative things, because you are a phenomenal young lady, a
Thank
young
you.
woman, a strong-willed woman. and you are a survivor, and you will continue to survive. So that's what I see. And I know with the faith behind you, I know that shall pass. Even see, you already talked about it. And for someone who may be watching this tonight, listen at what she said. Challenges, it sucked, but look at her now. And guess what, Natalie? You would not believe that. I did not know who my daddy was. Not till recently. Until I was 30 some years old. So
yeah. We should talk.
And you always now, and this is something that I'm also working on. And this may be something, I'm about collaboration. This may be something that we can collaborate on, because as me, I was adopted, and I always had that feeling about why, where's the why? You want to know you're based on that, and you have to heal through that. And I'm telling you, it took me till I got my 30s just to really start to get healed from that. People don't realize that those dynamics, knowing who you are and where you're from, that is a very powerful thing. That because that's your upbringing, that's your history, that's your DNA. So I feel you on that one. I really feel you on that. So we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, I'm going to have a surprise. Like she said, she has a few pieces she's going to share with us tonight. But I also want to let you talk about her services, because I know you're going to be coming back here to the States, and I'm actually going to hopefully booking something with you when you get back. We have to talk about that, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to another episode of the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Michelle Boulden Hammond. And tonight I am here with my special guest, Natalie Dohman here. And we're here talking about her professional as a creative, an artist, photographer, graphic designer, ... phenomenal woman, survivor, dancer, just a creative all around base. And she's right now located in Paris. This is an inspiration for me, because look, I tell people I take this inspiration globally, and she just so happened we celebrated New Year's Eve together with me and the family. So it was again, I love spending that time with you. And then you came back the next day. I was just too tired to come back out the next day. I had to rest, but you talked about something that was very, and again, I congratulate you on all that. Now you talked about spirituality. Now here's where I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I'm a spiritual person. I love it. And I think there's a lot of, like you said, some things can be controversy in art, because I was just saying there is something in my area, that as a creative, you might be a little controversy to it, but it also, you have to look at both sides of the fence. So I know where you as an artist, because I know myself as a creative. Some things you might go up against the challenge of, but I want to talk about this piece that I want to show. Now, look, audience, I want you to pay very special close attention to this picture, because I'm going to ask, what detail do you get out of this? Now you can put this in the chat, but this is a picture that I want to show of her art. So let's look at this picture here. So Natalie, tell us about that picture.
Wow. Okay. So this specific piece, I painted in 2004. So I was around 19, 20 years old. This is a picture of Jesus. my interpretation of what the Christ would look like. Um, Ooh, you're gonna make me get emotional. So I was again going through a pretty rough time in my life, and I've always been close to Jesus. I've always been close to God. You know, no matter what happened. I relate a lot to Job in the Bible. Sometimes people think I'm crazy, but I know that God exists. I know, because even with where I am right now, like, there's no way that I'd be here without, divine intervention. But he presented himself to me, and I painted him, and then he sat in a closet for like um, 15 years. Jesus sat in a closet. He wasn't well received when I first painted him too. I'm divorced, and my ex husband's family said, "Oh, that looks like Osama bin Laden," and stuff like that. Which actually, this again, it all kind of ties together. So, yeah, he looks like Osama bin Laden, and he is wearing apparently robes that the Taliban would wear, the white robes and stuff. But this is what Jesus wore when he was living where he lived. And now, with everything that's going on in the Middle East with Palestine and Israel, this piece is super controversial, not just to the American audience that is used to the blonde hair, blue eyed, Europeanized version of Jesus, but you have that, and it's controversial to the Muslims because they have their own view on Jesus, and also to the Jewish people. So I actually have so Jesus is on the move. That's what I call. So he has had prints made that are in a lot of churches in Carlisle, where I'm from. He's been shipped across the country. He's been in Germany. He's been in other places. People have been ordering him. I also have T-shirts and bags of him, and on the T-shirts and bags it says, "This is what Jesus looked like," in Arabic. So I mean, I'm really hitting all the corners of. And then people would say, "Well, why did you paint that? Well, why?" And it's like, and this is the part that, like, I get excited talking about, and with you, I literally rebranded the image of Christ. So when people say you're going to blow up sometime, or you're going to make it, I already did. Like, people are buying my version of what Jesus looks like. That's it's a profound thing, and it's a big deal. And I have people that are connected to the American Cathedral here in Paris, so he might make his way over there for an exhibition, Black Jesus in Paris. That's a big deal. So that piece of art, the original piece, is quite pricey. Just putting it out there, if anybody's curious. At first I had it not for sale because to me it's priceless. But if somebody came with the right amounts, it's certified, all that stuff, because that piece, there's a lot of value in that piece. And he seems to, anytime I have a problem in my life and need to open a door, I literally go to that painting, or I'll like look at that painting and I'll be like, I need your help, Jesus. And again, Jesus is on the move. He's like, let me just do my thing. So yeah, I
Okay.
love that piece.
And it is beautiful. It is beautiful. So you were saying you have the t-shirts and stuff as well. So I
That's
love
on my
it.
gallery website. If you go to the ndesignartjaus.Come website, there's actually apparel that's listed, and prints. I need to do that tomorrow morning. I'm going to be updating my website so that the store is fully functional. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. But that was just one. But we have another one that we would like to show. That was just one. So we have some more for you. We have one more for you. And I'm gonna like it because I love colors. All right. Now, let's take a look at that one.
Yeah, that's a deep piece. Do you have
Um,
the one of the shards before that one? Did you
I didn't
download?
have that one. For some reason, those only two that I have. Those only two that I have.
Yeah, this piece was one of the most powerful pieces that I painted. It's a symbolic representation. It's called fragmented into acceptance. So it's literally when I painted out the pain that I carried from my trauma. And it's sold.
Mhm.
It sold for $650. And I'm actually really upset that it's sold because I'll never get that back. Like I don't have, people say, well, why would you want to keep connected to it? But it's like, that was a pivotal point in my life. That was a point where I could say that I was healing. And me painting, if you look at underneath the body, there are pieces of glass. And it started out where I just painted a body with glass and a yellow background. And then I started adding the flowers, and I started adding, my face in there, because that was a way for me to, as an artist, represent what healing looks like. And I think
Mhm.
that's why people respond to that image so much. They really like that print, is because I think there's a part of all of us that's broken. And if we want to get spiritual, that's seeking out the connection to our higher self or to God. And yeah, it resonates even with men when they look at it. Like they're like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah, I just it's I caught that, but I also catch there's a back of the atmosphere of the universe. And to me, I feel like you putting it out in the universe. That's just my interpretation. That's my creative what I see out of it. So
You caught that. No, you're observant because the universe is important in a lot of the pieces. I'm also a mystic, you know that. Like I practice, some philosophy and mysticism that everything's connected. And the universe, I love the universe is beautiful, but it's also a reminder that if we need anything, we can just ask the universe. We can ask, God, and normally, um, the universe
yeah,
provides.
yeah. That is so true. That is so true. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna put your information up here. This is where you can go to the website as well. There we have that. We will now have her Instagram. I want you to go follow Natalie. I want you to go follow her because she has some very good work, some good work.
I am so
So
lazy at updating my art. I'm so lazy. It's not lazy. Like I just
it's okay.
keep
It's
painting and I forget to.
it's okay. It's fine. It is fine. So audience. So these are where you can find her. You can look her up. But Natalie, share with the audience your services that you have. If someone wants to connect with you, because I do know you come back to the States sometimes to do some. I know you saying you might be coming back to DC, I think in the spring.
Mhm. Yeah,
In the
I'll be
spring.
back in the DMV area in late March, early April. I'm already booked out 3 sessions, and I'll only be back for like 2 weeks. But I do photography, lifestyle photography, family photography, that kind of stuff. I also do web design. I have a web designer that works with me, so he works remotely, which is funny because today I was like laying down in bed and an email came through and I was like, oh, Taylor. But he does some web design for me and graphic design. So if anybody's over in the States that needs this stuff and needs the services done, there's a point of contact there. And then I also teach, one of the things I want to promote are the art boxes, the art lessons that I ship from Paris. So a big thing for me is teaching, and that comes from the inspiration. A lot of people, they want to learn how to draw. They I don't know, they want to tap into that creative side. And since I closed my actual space down, like I closed a gallery down that was in Carlisle, I actually, it's funny because I expanded even though I closed that space. But I'm going to be mailing every month an art lesson. And this is the first one that's going to go out. It's a art lesson of a watercolor. Let me see if the camera gets it. It's a watercolor painting of the Eiffel Tower. And then you'll also get art supplies. You'll get brushes, and you'll get the paint, and you'll also get a medallion from the Louvre. You can sign up for that on the ndesignartjaus.Com site too. So, and they will ship internationally. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. See, there it is. See, I can still get a piece of the Paris and bring it back to the States. All the get it all, get it all. But again, Natalie, I want to say thank you so much. I'm looking to do some collaborating. Because I actually do retreats and stuff. So even if I have to bring you abroad to do it virtually for art therapy or something like that too, as well.
That'd
Always
be
looking to
cool.
host stuff. Yeah, always looking to do
No,
stuff.
that'd be.
Yeah, we love it. So, audience, we want to say, go follow her. Go follow her designs. Go order some designs. I actually want a bag and a t-shirt. So we'll talk about this a little bit afterwards. But yeah, I'm all about bags and t-shirts, all about that. But so audience, I had one person last week wrote in to say about the mantra to leave out with the show. So I had one person. I'm still looking for more people. We have the information where you can send this information because you'll have your name shouted out, with your vibe of your inspiration to close the night show out. But there was no one this week, but we're looking for more. I want you to turn it in, send it in to me to the upfront. M as in Mike, B as in boy, S as in Sam at gmail.com, and you will have your name abroad. Hey, what about that, Natalie? How about some people from over Paris or whoever be watching this? Send them in, and we will put you a shout out for the week. So we just love it. We just love on people here. We just love spreading cheer and inspiration globally because you can see, look at the connection we got globally. Globally here. But again, if you are someone who wants to spread the message of inspiration, you can contact me at that email right there, and we'll book you and get you on here because this is what we're all about. We're all about inspiring, making a better place in the world because God knows we need that. We need a better place in the world. And just that one message that you can say can inspire and change someone's mindset here. So I just want to say that. So Natalie, before you go, was there something else you want to say to the audience?
I mean, there's always something to say, right? There's always something. Yeah, the main one is to trust that inner voice. If what the inner voice says to you doesn't make you feel good, then that's not the true truth. I think more people need to kind of, I don't want to use the word wake up, but become aware that everything that we need is inside of us, and the world is supposed to be a positive place. A lot of people sometimes, this goes back into my story about resilience. A lot of people, they want to blame God for not being there. And really what it comes down to is we're all capable of sharing the love that God has for each other. And I'm getting over being sick, so but my challenge or my push to anybody that's watching this is here forward, treat people truly how you want to be treated, and what everyone is worth, and that's dignity and fairness and compassion. So that's my those are my closing things, because I see people sometimes the way they treat each other, and I'm like, wow, like, no.
I will say my experience in Paris was great. It was really great, really great. The people, when I went to the butcher shop down to there, the guy was like, he was saying in French, he was like, I like your gold tooth. I like your gold tooth. I said, well, you do there. Take a picture. We can send it to your phone or whatever like that. So it was a good experience. And even the guys at the restaurant on New Year's Eve where we ate at, they were all just so full of joy. And he was like, take our picture. Maybe we can take some American ladies to it. It was just so fun. I had a great time. So I'm looking to come. I'm looking to come back. So abroad. So audience, as I usually say every week, if you felt like you're not loved, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. Until next week, I am your host, Michelle Boulden Hammond. And look, go have a week with prosperous longevity and love, peace, and joy. Until next week, signing out.